Halsey. It's the rough, the discus lariat.
The huge suplex.
Let's count anywhere. I'm the fill-in host for Mr. Aaron Phillips. I'm Scott Halsey, along with Matt Mullen and the Chief. Good morning, gentlemen.
What's up?
Good morning there, Mr. Scott. Glad to have you on board.
Well,
You're far more than a freaking guest host, man. You're like one of the originals.
You are the original, sir.
one of the original misfits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
See?
Okay.
Yeah.
What?
Night. Yeah.
Okay.
See?
Aaron, wherever you're at, can you please come back to the studio?
He's like, just like that, we're done.
Yeah, exactly. He had too much coffee or Starbucks over there. That's a shout out to Starbucks, so please sponsor the show.
No. I got, yeah. See?
Are you okay?
Starbucks.
To be determined.
I know, exactly.
When have I ever been okay?
Aaron, we miss you here at the studio.
No, we
Shout
don't.
out.
No, we don't.
Wow.
No, we don't.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do. Hey, have fun with whatever you're doing. See you Monday.
Does his wife know where he's at?
I always said he was out of
Hope he's not
town.
watching.
Yes.
Always said
Where's
he's-
my husband?
All he said is he was out of town. He was going out of town, so I don't know.
Ah, okay.
Good morning, Brandy. How you doing today?
Hey, Brandy, how you doing? So, why don't we just start with the rundown of I Hear Voices?
Yeah, let's do it.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah. Rumor is the upcoming negotiations with WWE media rights, or for their media rights, Warner Brothers Discovery wants a piece of the WWE. Man, it was perfect timing.
I like that. That
What-
was awesome.
What would this mean
Can
for
we do that all the time?
what would this mean for AEW? Because obviously they're part of the Warner Brothers picture right now.
I don't know. I think like AEW would have to be put on the back burner because WWE's
The marketing machine.
WWE, so they would get like the primetime shows AEW wants. And then AEW would have to get like whatever's left over, I guess.
No, while I was traveling, we're in a group chat and we're talking about things. And obviously, the thing with AEW is they're going over to England or the UK,
Yeah.
Yes,
Wembley Stadium, which seats like 90 something million people.
93.
There's no way in hell they're going to fill that stadium.
No.
Unless they give it away and say the Queen's going to show up, rise from the grave. So the question I have is, my thoughts on AEW going way back
Yeah.
is, Tony Khan is hemorrhaging money and keeps wanting to do this. Honestly, if he loses a network, is he going to be like, another organization and be on, Fight TV or something like that?
Be like ROH.
Have no place to go?
Exactly.
Give me his phone number.
Exactly. But
It could be. I don't think it'll ever go that far. I think AEW probably put like their foot down and try to like stop them from going to WWE for programming, but it is Warner Brothers, for God's sake.
I mean, the thing I've said for years is, it's basically daddy's money,
Yeah.
and he can't even put butts in seats for a football stadium that the team's actually in the playoffs now. So how is he going to fill Wembley Stadium unless he just papers the place?
doesn't he own a soccer team also?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Over in England?
Yep.
But
You're going to tell him that the football game's actually happening.
hey, we could.
Then maybe like buy a soccer ticket and you get
Yeah.
4 tickets to All in London for free.
But
Two
wait,
for one or 2 for 8.
Wait, I'm confused. I'm confused. You got
That's easy.
I know. You guys got to help me. I thought WWE got sold to.
Basically the UFC.
Yeah.
They got sold to Endeavor, but
Yeah.
all their TV rights are up, so they got to renegotiate all the
With
TV
Warner-
rights for Raw, SmackDown,
With Warner
NXT.
Brothers or with any.
They're in the negotiations. But
Oh, okay.
That's why Vince is back. I mean, he's the negotiation machine.
Okay.
Everybody's so
Okay.
worried about him being involved with creative that Hunter still got. And everybody's, oh, look at this bad match. Bad matches happen, people.
So it's not MMA or any of
No.
that. It's WWE negotiating.
they're basically negotiating with the TV networks to get the most money to air Raw, SmackDown, NXT,
Gotcha.
all that stuff.
Or how about just bringing back the WWE/UFC network?
I'd be down.
That'd be awesome. I mean, they have enough content between obviously old footage from all the library of WWE that, contains AWA, Mid-South, all the organizations.
Can I make one suggestion?
The donuts were great. I appreciate
Don't
that.
use freaking Peacock.
Don't put Bruno Sammartino on it.
Hey. Hey. Cut his mic off.
Ding
He's
ding.
already starting.
All right, let's go into another feud that's been happening after many rumors that there was heat between Seth and WWE after the incident on Raw after Mania. Is there any issues actually between the two right now?
I guess from what I've heard that there is no issues at all. I guess they squashed whatever beef happened. But I was at that Raw when that happened, and like Seth was just doing his thing and like trying to get everybody to sing. And then it went to commercial break randomly, and even it was like, the hell? And then the production people were talking to him at like ringside for like 3 minutes. And as soon as the thing went back on the air, he just walked out and left. So I guess they cut it for whatever Brock and Cody did at the end, maybe.
Well,
That whole show made no sense.
Yeah, exactly. The thing of it is they really have to understand that the talent is out there, but they do, especially when you're on Raw and you have commercial breaks and things like that, they have to obey by them per the contracts and the marketing rights for the networks.
That was just proof that Vince McMahon literally changed the shit on the fly.
Yeah. I mean, but I honestly don't think it's Vince. I really don't. You hear all the rumors of Vince sitting in the gorilla position and making the calls. I honestly think, Hugh Hefner is what he's looking like or whatever is gone. I mean, he's there to be the businessman, and Hunter's got the talent. Yeah. And, anything that's gone wrong with Hunter, they're going to blame Vince McMahon. All the fans, you out there, Vince did this, Vince did that. And it's just like, okay, shit happens. Yeah. Hunter's going to make mistakes. He's not perfect. He is not Jesus, the second coming of Jesus Christ. So just go with the flow.
Fremont Street earlier this week.
What was that?
Said I kicked him off Fremont Street earlier.
Jesus Christ? Oh, okay.
And Satan. And within like the same hour.
They were both there.
Wow.
It was funny.
I'm sure that's going to be in your little chat here in a second. But the thing of it is, you got to understand that Hunter is going to make mistakes. But the fans just stop. Oh my God, this is Vince, a bad match. This is Vince's fault. Come on, it happens.
But as you always said, it's always about putting butts in the seats and selling merch.
And they still put butts in seats. Matt,
and they still
how many empty
merch.
seats there?
Where? WrestleMania?
Yeah.
None.
Exactly. Serious.
None.
I'll bet you there was at least one. I'll bet you.
I'm sure there was a couple, but
then don't
from like the mix of like just looking, you're like, Jesus Christ.
And
you would have to look to find an empty seat.
And then if memory, is still with me today, you went to SmackDown, you went to, Raw afterwards. Did you go to the Hall of Fame also?
Yeah.
Okay.
There were a couple empty seats during like SmackDown, and Raw was pretty sold out too, actually. Yeah,
because most people, work and then they stay through the weekend and they want to see the surprises with Raw, but there really wasn't much in the surprise game.
I can't believe it waited that long to go to freaking Raw after WrestleMania, and that was like the worst one by far.
I could see next year. I could see them doing the Hall of Fame at the ECW arena. That would be awesome.
Miz is gonna highlight it. Awesome.
Miz? Yeah. Miz, it's his time. He deserves it.
That Philadelphia crowd, if somebody like not ECW related goes into that Hall of Fame, I feel bad for them.
Exactly. Yeah. So with that being said,
there'll be a lot of cheesesteaks being thrown.
We've covered our I Hear Voices, and Aaron's in the chat room. So why don't we take our quick first commercial break, and we'll come back with some story time with Matt.
Sweet.
Oh, well.
Hello, hi, this is April Hom, the Royal Hawaiian from Glow, and you're watching Thoughts Count Anywhere.
D'Lo Brown. If you want to be part of one of the greatest podcasts on the world, Thoughts Count Anywhere, every Saturday, 9 to 11 Pacific. Now recognize that.
Hey, everybody, Aaron Filson. I'm standing with Anthony Miller. Hey, I have a quick question for you. What's the name of your favorite wrestling show?
Thoughts Count Anywhere.
What a convenience. Saturday, 9 to 11 a.m. Pacific. If this guy watches it, better watch it also on Facebook.
Welcome back to Thoughts Count Anywhere. I'm guest hosting For Mr. Aaron Phillips, I'm Scott Hosey. We got Matt Mullen, and we got the chief here at. What the hell are you?
Doing my exercises.
Look like one of the bushwhackers.
Well,
I don't know which
could-
one it is.
I could be.
The dead one or the.
Half and half.
He might be as limber as Butch.
Exactly.
Half and half. Not half for 70.
Oh my God.
What do we got?
Yeah.
Let's see. Have a great show. Yes, we will, Aaron. Jamie, good morning, Jamie. How you doing today? As Aaron said, he's on a special assignment.
Yeah. Special assignment, my ass.
Where we're at, we have no idea. So there you have it.
Uh-oh. What's this? Have
What?
fun at anime festival? Okay. All right.
He wasn't able to make bail.
Yes, exactly. So he's got to dress up in a unicorn costume.
He's got to be a furry for the day.
Shit.
Where are your hands between two pillows? Those aren't pillows.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
We
Story
know.
time with Matt. Here we go.
And now here is your storytelling host, Matt Mullen, the Mr. Rogers of the Fremont Street neighborhood. Take it away, Matt. What's happening in the neighborhood?
All right. Yesterday was kind of crazy. I get a call at like 9 in the morning of some lady that's on the 3rd floor, and they were like, "Hey, can you get rid of her?" Oh, well, sure. So I go upstairs, like look around, and I was like, "Oh, she's sitting on the floor over there." Start walking over there. She sees me coming. She stands up. She's like, I already know. I was like, cool. This is going to be easy. I was like, just go down to the 1st floor. Have a good day. She turns around all of a sudden. I'm the freaking devil. You don't ever tell me. I'm going to hex you. Ah. I was like, the fuck? She's in there screaming the whole way. And I was like, whatever. Hex me. I'm going to hell already. See you there. So then literally she hits the elevator. I get another phone call. And they were like, hey, this guy's in the eatery and won't leave. And I was like, all right. No, he's in Denny's. Sorry. He's in front of Denny's. So I go over to Denny's. And I was like, hey, bro, you can't block their doorway. Just go over to Fremont if you want food. Try to ask for dollars over there. No big deal. And he was like, I'm God Almighty. And I was like, what? And he was like, I'm God. You can't tell me what to do. And I was like, so if I put my hand on God, what happens? He was like, what? And then I drug his ass out of the building.
You're going to hell.
Apparently.
Quickly.
And he's like, well, where do you want me to go? And I just threw him out. And then the devil lady came back. And she was like, she wouldn't leave. And I was like, you know what? You need to go down to the very bottom of our parking garage so you're closer to home. She didn't catch on, and they eventually left. And
Together? Arm in arm?
oh, that would have been there would have been pictures. That was great.
I like the pictures of people that you sent me racing in the parking garage and not being successful in getting out.
The 10-second police chase.
You know, I love your stories every week. There's always something
Oh yeah.
going on down there. Always.
But all you have to do is say
Always.
Fremont Street.
Yeah. Yeah. Under the canopy.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. It's just unbelievable.
True that.
So why don't we start with the WWE report?
Do we
And
have
that-
to?
Yes, we have to.
All right. I just
It's
checked.
part of the show, you
Just
know.
checking.
We're here to do-
I like AEW myself, but that's okay.
Even a blind squirrel finds a nut.
Yeah, I know.
WWE has reached a deal that will allow its superstars back on Twitch with a profit share between Twitch and WWE superstars and the WWE. Twitch would get a portion of the profits.
So does that mean Mandy Rose is coming back?
It's not a deal with OnlyFans or whatever the hell she's on, but
Oh,
it's like the gaming channel. So you'll see like Xavier Woods, Lena Vega, AJ was always on there.
okay. I don't know. I don't.
All the
I
ones that
don't
play
watch
like video. It's like a streaming service to like watch people play video games. Basically.
Okay,
interact
the
with.
question I have is why are people up in arms on this? They're employed by WWE.
Yeah.
WWE is paying their paycheck. It's part of any, and I don't care what anybody says. Please put it in the chat room. I work for a government entity in electronics and communications.
Mhm.
If I design something, it belongs to the government or my employer. That's part of any contract with a job. If you design something or do something using their name, because obviously Xavier Woods, a lot of those are copyrighted names now. If it's theirs or not, it's part of your employer. So why are people up in arms? It's kind of common sense. Plus, you're utilizing their bridge of popularity. I mean,
but they weren't using like their WWE names on the thing. They were using like their real names.
But you're still
so that'd be kind of like if you worked for the government, but you also own Power Play. So that's like government taking over Power Play.
I'll give you that one. But is it because that? No, okay. First of all, I have signed all my paperwork, so I can legally have my job and then my own sports store.
Yeah.
So, but they do not conflict whatsoever.
But how would a gaming channel and your wrestling career exactly interact either? This is WWE being greedy at that point.
I give it to you. But do you think that they would ever have the popularity that they have if it wasn't for WWE?
Oh, definitely not.
Okay.
But I think WWE realized that they were making like 6 figures off of these channels and were like,
oh, sure.
No, you might leave. No, we're not doing this.
Let me ask you a question. Can't they, and
it's an NDA, both basically.
You know a lot more about this than I do, but can't they try to negotiate this right here or things like this into their contracts?
Absolutely.
To where there isn't a problem then?
I'm sure that'll be a thing from like now on.
Yeah. I mean, just like a lot of them have decided to keep their own name and not allow WWE to copyright it, copyright their own name and things like that, or trademark it.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
It's called business. That's what it is.
Making money.
Yeah.
Yes.
Seth Rollins versus Omos set for Backlash.
What happened on SmackDown? Because I just saw this randomly pop up. And I'm still confused.
I'm still confused why Omos is on TV, but that's okay. Besides, he's tall.
I don't know.
Did you watch SmackDown last night?
No, I didn't.
Omos is not Andre the Giant. All he
But
is El Gigante all over again.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is a darker version of Giant Gonzalez.
Thoughts and opinions belong to Aaron Phillips. WWE Backlash is officially sold out. Does that surprise anyone?
No, it's because it's in Puerto Rico and Bad Bunny. Everyone thinks he's going to be like some kind of concert or something. So.
And he probably will do, pre or after, type stuff to put butts in seats. But, it's the first time they've been there in how many years? First time for a pay-per-view.
I don't even remember the last time.
Yeah, I mean, they've done tours over there, but, basically a pay-per-view or, being over there. First time, it's going to sell out. I mean,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't see why anybody would be surprised.
No, all it says here is that
Jesus Christ is the Savior.
That's my girl. Don't mess with my girl, man. That's my girl.
Okay.
But no, it says here that it's the match has seemingly come out of nowhere, as Seth freaking Rollins will be taking on the Nigerian giant Omos. Rollins coming off a win over YouTube megastar Logan Paul at WrestleMania 39. That's all it says. Doesn't say anything else.
Random as well.
So
they better set something up on Monday.
Yeah.
Anything's possible. NXT UK Championship gets a new name. Current champion Nomar Dar was introduced as NXT Heritage Cup Champion. Does anybody care about that championship anymore?
I think ever since like Walter and like Pete Dunne lost it, I forgot it even existed honestly.
Because they've pretty much done away with the UK programming and things like that.
You never hear about it anymore. That's a shame.
Now that they want to do like NXT Europe, I think like the whole UK thing's on the back burner until they get all that stuff going.
He's still working on.
Hey, you know me, man. I'm gonna get to the bottom of it.
Everybody thinks this is an iPad. It's actually an abacus, but that's okay.
Etch a Sketch.
That was the first tablet in Etch a Sketch.
And I had one.
Yeah.
and I still got one. I'll bring it next week.
Thoughts on Trish Stratus
You want to see
and the
my flip phone?
Is that what we call it now? and no.
Oh,
Brandy, help me out here. Thoughts on Trish Stratus's promo?
I thought it was actually really good. I don't think people wanted like her to turn heel, but I think she was really like the start of the women's revolution because no one really did care about women's wrestling besides the
Shane McMahon. I mean, that came out loud.
facts.
Well,
Stories I've heard. Okay.
You know, it was Sable, Trish. Who else was there?
Trish Lee and Sable aren't in the
Pretty
same
hot.
conversation.
No.
Pretty hot.
Two of them could wrestle. One of them could not.
Well, no, she
One with Brock, but that's okay.
but she placed hands appropriately. Do you remember that? When she walked out and she
I'd pay good money for Liz being in this chat room
she took
Right now.
and she took her top off and they were there and she had handprints on them. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
That was the only contribution she had
Yes.
to wrestling.
That's all right.
Oh,
That was
That's
it.
okay. Hey, it put
and Brock
butts,
Lesnar.
it put butts in the seats. So
I think Lita
So
and Trish-
many ways we could go down this. So many ways.
somebody bail me out. God, I give you the perfect line. Duh. No. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Where's our chat room?
Predictions.
Is Brandy helping us out here?
No.
Brandy, help.
Oh, man.
She's running amok.
I think Trish and Lita definitely like were the faces of like the
Yeah,
revolution
absolutely.
before it happened.
Absolutely.
Because they were the ones that, if you like, and you read interviews of Charlotte, Becky, any of the big names now, they were all inspired by Trish and Lita to start wrestling.
Yes.
That was there. Okay.
Yes.
It's in the indie report because that's where she belongs, in my opinion. I was thinking about an ex WWE diva.
Oh,
Well,
no big deal.
Yeah. Stay with Star
I
Wars.
laughed as I was putting
She
it
can
in
stay
the
as-
indie report.
Stay as a Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Okay. Predictions for the draft that starts on SmackDown this week, which I have never been. Why?
Predictions.
Why do we have a draft? It's stupid.
It is.
I don't even think it helps with ratings.
You know
I mean,
what? Who actually started the draft? Was it
When they originally split Raw and SmackDown,
Yeah.
and it
Was
was,
it
like Ric
Vince?
Flair and Vince,
Ric Flair and Vince?
like
It was Vince's idea.
3, 4.
Okay.
But the thing of it is, everybody's like, "Oh, Vince is back because of the draft." They have to do something because it's after Mania. You have shot your wad, and basically, what are you going to do? So they throw in this mock draft. In my opinion, just stay away from the draft. Why did one person have to be on one? It was always cool when, especially in the territories when, New York used to send people down to the Carolinas and that automatically somebody would show up. Okay.
Absolutely.
Or, they'd start feuds. I think you're stovepiping yourself and painting yourself into a corner with all these drafts and things like that. And are they going to eventually, combine uncombine the championship?
I think the biggest thing that'll happen out of the draft is Roman's going to get drafted to SmackDown. They're going to be like, here's your new undisputed heavyweight championship. And they're going to have to put a new champion on SmackDown.
You mean
Because
Raw?
if the media rights are up, it's going to look real dumb if you're going like, well, our champion's on Raw, but
Very
how
true.
much do you want to pay for SmackDown?
Yeah, very true.
So I think we're going to end up having a new champ, I don't know if they're going to bring back like the World Heavyweight Championship or what they're going to do, but I think SmackDown's going to have its own world champion.
You mean the one that Bruno wore?
God, no.
Oh.
They want people to watch
You
SmackDown.
said the world championship. That was Bruno.
Aaron, next time you call me.
Wasn't this blue or red belt that they've got? It was a world championship belt. That's all I got to say on the mat. Next.
I sat next to Karen on the flight home last night. Didn't realize I was going to be on the show with her. Ted DiBiase Jr. released from jail on bond after being caught up in the Mississippi's largest welfare embezzlement scam in the state's history. Thoughts? And let's caveat that again with Ted DiBiase Jr.
I think seniors caught up in this thing too.
It was mentioned like last year or something like that, but
I thought though he from what I read, I thought Senior went and talked to them
and cleared his name
and cleared himself
and the other son.
Yes, but this one here, hey, what's the old saying? You're going to do the crime, you got to do the time.
Yeah, Hunter Biden feels the same way.
It's that simple. It's that simple. I mean, that's how I look at it.
Senior went to the bill. People said, everybody got a price. My son's about $3,000. Get him out of there. Here's the unfortunate part, though, is welfare. Okay. That money that was scammed or taken
earmarked for needy.
Exactly.
Yeah, very true.
I wonder if the state's scrambling for money now.
It's a possible. Most states are scrambling for money.
Being that how much. Yeah.
From what I've seen from the welfare department, I say about 90% of it's being scammed to begin with anyway.
That's true.
So it's a shame it came out. That's all I can say.
It is. Continuing on with the attack from Trish, Lita seems to be done with WWE, at least for the time being. Chief?
That's a shame.
Did you watch that match she had?
Yeah, she was so slow it wasn't funny.
She's Lita, but
I know.
I mean,
no, she is Lita.
We all have a mutual friend, and that's Ryan. Shout out to Ryan.
Yeah.
Ryan wants to see Stone Cold Steve Austin back in the ring. Okay. I'm a huge Ric Flair mark. Okay. I'll say it. But I'm a Ric Flair mark from the Carolina days. His WWE run at the end was atrocious and took away from Ric Flair, the Mount Rushmore. And I think Lita, I think Stone Cold, even though he's in great shape, he can kick shit out of me any day of the week. But I don't want to see him in the ring anymore. I want to remember him the way he was. Obviously, coming down here, I put in the chat room. Today, because of physical ailments, I feel like Willie Mays with the Mets. I wanted to see Willie Mays with the Giants and the Mets. For people who are old enough to understand, he was a shell of himself and pretty much destroyed the end of his career of, how he was portrayed. Lita in that match looked horrible.
Yes.
True.
Totally agree with you.
So being written off TV, maybe it's not a bad thing.
Not at all.
I mean, who are we kidding? Out of Lita and Trish, we'll caveat it. Who does the guys want to see? Obviously, it's Trish.
Yes.
And, for reasons there being. But
there's a couple reasons people want to see that match at SummerSlam.
Maybe she's going to put hands on them. Who knows? I just threw that
Seth
out
Rollins
there.
is going.
I just threw that out there. Anyway, no, I'm sorry, but Lita was slow and stiff as at best.
Yeah,
okay?
Tom's right.
Tom, I agree with you. I don't disagree.
I wanted to remember.
What's the matter?
Oh, Tom agreed with me. That's a first.
I don't disagree with that. Don't get me wrong. I'm glad to see her come back.
Lita can manage. I mean, she did with the Hardys. I mean, she was pretty much a manager, but she's also trying to think who has the biggest ass right now, her or Bailey.
I don't know. Bailey's starting to look like the Goodyear blimp a little bit, but I wasn't.
She forgot her knee injury healed and needs to get back in the gym and push away from the buffet.
Yeah, well.
All right. Nick Khan said in an interview that after the merger, WWE is expected to cut $50 million from their budget and try to be a lean and mean company. How many talent do you think they will cut, and where else do you think the money will come from? First of all, this isn't a shock. WrestleMania is over.
Yeah.
We're going into the summertime where, people are taking family vacations. The economy is what it is. They're not going to be able to keep that roster. And the only reason they're fighting for roster is what did I miss? Okay.
Thank you, Jamie.
Yes. For those who haven't seen the show before, obviously I'm filling in for Aaron, but there is a chat board that, if you're in the chat room on Facebook or any of the social media, we can see your comments. So if we kind of laugh or something, it's because we have some funny comments coming through. Some of them we can repeat, some of them we can't.
If you see my false teeth fall out, it's serious.
Yes.
Anyway.
Who do you think? Do you think
Go ahead.
many cuts? Do you think a lot of cuts? Any surprise cuts? Almost.
I think a lot of the cuts are going to come from like executives, honestly. Because if Endeavor has most of the power, they're going to keep most of their executives.
Like HR type things, when companies merge.
I think most of the management of WWE is gone, minus the Triple H's, the Vince, and like their core group of people, probably like Bruce Pritchard and Kevin Dunn, all those kind of people will stay, but I think a lot of executives are going to get cut, and they'll probably cut some talent. Just
I honestly,
like some of the names that have like too high of a contract that they don't use, or
unfortunately, I knew this was coming.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what you.
And I was worried about a good friend of all of ours because he hasn't had a lot of camera time recently. But then the whole thing with the tarot cards coming out to play. So in case you haven't seen it,
I did ship to you. I did see Carrion's spot last night on SmackDown.
And he is a Hunter guy. So, obviously him getting some camera time now to me is very influential because I was worried,
me too.
All WrestleMania Battle Royal is all we've really seen.
Him and Shinsuke.
Yeah, that should be great. If they let it go the way it should. But, who knows? I've never been a big Shinsuke fan. I think his days are well past. He's more for New Japan, and the animation coming into the ring. Just do your shit in the ring.
I didn't realize that he ran the dojo over in Cali.
Oh yeah,
I didn't realize that.
And people don't say, "Oh, it's just because he's Asian." I'm Asian, so I understand.
Yeah, no.
But I think it for American TV, it just doesn't catch on.
He can definitely work in the ring though. His ring work I like.
Yeah, his ring work is fine, but it's kind of stale. What you have to have a good dance partner. I think Karrion will be a great dance partner for him.
Yes.
And for people who don't know my history, dance partner, if you don't understand wrestling, means your opponent. You have to have a good dance partner.
This guy right here.
Okay.
I know you guys don't watch like Up, Up, Down, Down like Xavier Woods like gaming channel on YouTube, but he had like this video where he had like they were playing the Tekken game, and he put like the mods of everybody like on the roster pretty much to put them in the Tekken game, and he had Karrion Kross on there and was like, "Hey, hit the square button," and Kross popped like hell when he saw he was like in the Tekken game himself.
Oh, that's awesome!
And then they had a Solo.
Yep.
And he was trying to stay in character, and and then they were like, hit this button, and he saw himself, and when he popped up on the screen, he was like trying to hold it in as much as he could, but it was hilarious.
Was it the north number or the south number? We'll never know.
So with the money being an issue, obviously after Mania, money's always an issue.
Oh yeah.
We talked about HR. We talked about producers, backstage, talent. Who do you think? Who's your two talents that are going to go? One male, one female.
The way it's going now, I wouldn't be surprised if Bray Wyatt gets released again, because they're probably paying him top dollar and whatever he's going through again.
Mm-hmm.
I can just see them being like, it's not worth it. Never mind. Female.
Alexa Bliss.
Let's say those dirty words.
I wanted to see her reaction. She's got
what the hell they're doing with her.
She's got a singing gig now.
Nothing right now, are they?
Nothing.
They ain't doing nothing with her.
No. I wonder
Female
why.
to be released.
I'd say Dana.
Dana Brooke. Yeah. That's a good.
Or Dewdrop.
I got one for you.
Dewdrop.
Natalia.
That could possibly.
No, she ain't. I
just wanted to see the look on his face.
She's not
I
going.
got
Dewdrop.
Oh yeah, Dewdrop. That's on there. Nikki Cross.
Nikki Cross, I could see. Sarah Logan. I mean, she's
Yeah.
part of the gimmick, but I don't think she does much for that gimmick, to be honest with you. On the men's side, Omos, all he is El Gigante. I mean, doesn't do much there. Chief?
I don't know. You all hit on most of what I was thinking too. Well,
Anybody in the chat room?
I
Have your one
don't-
male, one female that might be Tom.
Well,
Tom, Ellie Knight, for all those FSW fans out there. We've got, Eli Drake,
heck yeah.
Ricker, Sean Ricker. Yeah,
They haven't really used the Good Brothers since like AJ's gotten hurt.
yeah, that's a strong possibility there because we all know those two. They like working over in Japan. So
What about AJ himself?
AJ's never getting fired from that place.
No.
He's like top tier talent.
I don't disagree.
But so is Bray
with you.
Wyatt. Who would have saw that?
Yeah.
I don't disagree with
But
you.
AJ shows up every week when he's healthy.
Yeah. Yeah. What about MVP?
Well, if Omos goes,
If Omos goes, they're like a
Yeah.
pair. They're
Yeah.
both going, but
You know,
I'm surprised they haven't restarted the Hurt business with Omos
and
I'm just trying to, I'm trying to think. Will they release some of the talent possibly from NXT also?
those are for sure coming. They
You
said they're
know?
going to release talent from there like every 3 months, regardless.
So I mean,
NXT. Well, what about Braun? Where's Braun at? Did he make an appearance over the last week?
Breaker?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was on NXT.
he was
last
on
week.
NXT. Yeah.
Okay, because
I think he's gonna
last
be in
time
the
I saw
draft.
NXT is obviously when he lost the belt,
Yeah.
which surprisingly was about the same time Daddy opened his mouth.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that.
Yeah,
But
get caught up in that. Yeah,
And it's funny when you hear the seniors say that they didn't have an influence in getting their youngins in the wrestling business, but when something happens or something's said, it can reflect on their child. And to me,
sure.
that's wrong. To me, in my opinion, okay, Daddy may had a little bit to do to get Mr. Breaker into the wrestling business. But in the last 2 years, in my opinion, the son has done everything he's needed to do to make his name what it is today, whether he stays at NXT or eventually gets moved up to.
I figured he was Raw after Mania. To be honest with you,
So did I.
I don't
guess that
disagree. I don't disagree.
Apparently, they were saving all these like for the draft to make it bigger.
Never thought.
But every
of that.
time like Charlotte says like her dad didn't get her in the business and all this kind of stuff,
Come on.
their dads definitely opened the door for them.
and
but
push them through.
Charlotte and them like kick the door down
Yeah.
and like prove themselves.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Continuing on, and after this topic, we'll take a quick break. So, a lot of the wrestlers have their blue check mark removed from Twitter. Anybody care?
What the hell?
Not really, but I guess since like Elon Musk took over, he has like this new Twitter blue thing you got to pay like $9 a month for to get like the check mark. And they got rid of everybody's check mark unless you pay.
So,
Which
you're
wrestling fans are wrestling fans, so
You're basically
If
$108 a year to get a blue check mark.
pretty much.
Because if you're a talent, celebrity, something of that nature, you can.
Yeah.
Okay. $108, people.
I can just see like
Let's take a GoFundMe account for them.
I can just see scammers buying those blue check marks and being like, "Hey, you're a fan of me. Send me blah blah blah." And
Yeah.
way too many people are gonna fall for it because I've seen too many warning messages already. Even when they had the blue check marks, I've seen like Alexa Bliss post.
All I know.
That's like not me. Don't do this.
True.
I'm
Very
not gonna DM you asking for money.
I
Don't
just think it's
send people money.
you've got hackers and scammers all over the world.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
been, hacking into computers, people's bank accounts, but people get a job.
Facts.
Anyway, yeah.
I don't have Twitter. I don't even know what the hell it is.
It's a tweet.
It doesn't work on flip phones.
Yes.
I
It's a
don't.
twit.
I don't. I don't care.
He's a Twitter. With that being said, we'll take a quick commercial break and we'll be back with Matt, Chief, and I'm Scott filling in for Aaron after this short commercial break.
This is the story of one man's incredible journey from 350 to 200-pound weight loss and his mission to help and inspire others. Aaron Phillips. People are praising Aaron's new book with 5-star reviews. Aaron's various humorous and wildly entertaining stories portray his rise as a sports announcer, his encounters with exotic and irregular entertainers on the Las Vegas Strip through his long-running Vegas Unwrapped radio show, and his contagious and positive style of pursuing success. Call now or visit our website or Amazon now to get your copy of Let My Voice Speak to You, stories from a Hall of Fame radio personality. Order now.
Welcome back to Thoughts Count Anywhere. Blue check mark for Aaron Phillips, who's watching us, or he's actually paying attention. I'm going to be great.
I didn't know they had internet in jail.
Internet.
How'd you sneak that phone in?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Today at noontime, today and tomorrow, down at Tampa Fairgrounds, Thunder Championship Wrestling. Start time is noon. Also, Power Play Sports Cards and Collectibles
Wait. Before you
show.
give me a shout out, today at noon in Tampa.
Yeah, this is Ronald, our buddy.
I understand that, but aren't you a little
45
late?
minutes ago.
No. Well, I couldn't get a word
It started
in.
like an hour and 40 minutes
Sorry,
ago.
Ronald.
I couldn't get a word in edgewise. So,
He was doing his lumberjack stuff.
because you guys were. So I'm doing it now. So anyway, let me go to the next one. Now that I
Did we already start Chiefs rant?
no, not yet. Now that I was rudely interrupted.
Last Wednesday,
August 26th.
WrestleMania 39 is
Shut
April
up.
1st and 2nd.
Turn his mic off.
The first president of the United States.
Fuck you guys. I ain't doing it. The hell with you. So I'm going on strike. Turn my mic off.
All right. With that being said, why don't we do Chiefs rant?
I don't have one now.
oh yes, you do.
General quarters, all hands man your battle stations. Set material conditions Zebra throughout the ship. Make Zebra report to DC Central.
Because the chief says so. Hey, good morning, folks. This is the chief. My 3 minutes of fame is now 2:58. Anyway, we have a young fella in our Las Vegas wrestling family by the name of Gunnar Johansson, who is in the hospital, been diagnosed with lymphoma cancer, 16 years old, trained, had some training with Karrion Kross, and next Sunday, April the 30th, at the FSW Arena, Mr. Joe DeFalco and his partner in crime are putting on a show. There is going to be prizes. One of the prizes is going to be a family 4-pack for the anniversary show that'll be held down at the Silverton. There is a GoFundMe page for Gunnar. Also, Brandy Lowry started, our sister, and this Monday he starts his first session of chemo of 6. So, let's keep him in our prayers. If you want to send cards to the hospital, or you can get a hold of Ken Johansson, and Ken can give you his home address. He won't put it on Facebook, and I won't put it out here publicly. Shouldn't be. But send a card, or send a as the guy said, send a tweet, whatever. But Gunner, you're in our prayers, and let's get this over and done with for you, son. That's the Chiefs rant today. Over now.
Absolutely. God bless. 13 years old is too young. 16, sorry.
That's okay.
But I've known him for years, but
you have.
Remember when he was like super small, going to like
now
FSW shows?
Now he's 6'8".
Yeah. But the thing of it is, too young. But it also brings us back to not just Gunner, but we need to understand that life is too short for everyone. Friends, family, take the time to just, send a hello to some people. Just don't post. I hate it personally when people just put this blanket statement on, Facebook of, I'm saying hello to everyone. Why don't you just pick up the phone or send them a private text? Stop being you damn ass lazy and make those, calls. Recently I've, caught up with my cousin who I hadn't, or my cousins who hadn't seen in 30 years.
Oh, wow.
I saw
Unfortunate situation about it, but, life is too short. And as Aaron always ends the show, we only have each other. So I think the world needs to be a little kinder. It really does. Over the past few years, and this is my rant right now, my 2 minutes of fame.
You can have it.
I think we forgot who we are.
Yep.
We're not a third world country. We need to learn what policies, rules, being polite is. And, for those who can't see, I have a bad wheel right now. I kind of blew a knee. And I can tell you, trying to get through an airport, how many people just literally stood in my way, wouldn't move. And I'm saying, excuse me, in the kindest voice possible. And they look at me like I'm some freaking alien. Well, you know what? Go screw yourselves.
Yeah.
Real simple.
Facts.
We need to just definitely show our love and support for each other.
What was the old one? Please and thank you.
What?
Please and thank you.
What?
We
Those
need
are pretty far
exactly.
and few between nowadays.
we need
Exactly.
a lot. We need a lot more of that.
Yeah.
so speaking
Stole
of
my line,
speaking of jail, we'll skip the next topic because Sonny's trial for manslaughter goes on to start on August 16th, and I don't think I'm getting airplane ticket money back. I don't think so. Okay.
I don't think she's going to be appearing in Power Play.
No, not.
soon.
I think I got a bunch of unsigned photos, and
And if she does, don't let her drive there.
exactly. Uber. How does anybody? I mean, Uber's there, Lyft's there, friends are there.
Yeah.
I mean, please.
How do you drive without a license?
Watch Jeff Hardy.
Oh, I wasn't mentioning names, but that's what I was
It's
thinking.
called stupidity. It really is. It really is.
Summerlin Hospital, and that's the address.
Okay.
Awesome.
Room 645, care of Gunnar Johansson.
Perfect. Or I was going to say, possibly just take them down to FSW and
Yeah.
somebody there will make sure they get Brandy, Chief, Joe, Rocky. Somebody will make sure they get cards to them. WWE working on a new children's game show, a trivia show where kids will go against WWE superstars. I think it should be a spelling show because I've seen some spelling posts recently from wrestling fans that need improvement. But that's okay.
That would be
Like the one I
hilarious.
posted the other day. What was that guy thinking? Or,
I have no idea. Some wrestling fans are just out there.
So the game show, a trivia show. What? I'm assuming it's going to be wrestling trivia.
I would assume so. He's lost again.
I was out there.
Oh, you have the gold buzzer here.
Hey, you like that one, did you?
I mean, I remember seeing the game shows recently that had Jericho on, Family Feud, guys versus girls, things
Are
like
you
that.
smarter than a fifth grader?
That's the one
No.
I was just going to say. Didn't they have a show with children on it,
Yep.
asking questions and this and that, and but it was adults, and there was kids on it too that were smarter than the adults. Can you imagine what's going to be like with professional wrestlers on it? Oh my God!
I've seen the curriculum of what the kids are teaching now. They ain't smarter than the
But
adults.
But you
The
know,
one time I could use that line.
hey, but you know one thing, what people fail to realize, is a lot of the professional wrestlers have college degrees
Sure.
and are not stupid.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
It's a character.
The other side of the coin
Chief stupid.
makes me shake my head sometimes.
Yeah, well,
Like people that bring championship belts to matches, you should have to defend them.
Or bring like 8 of them, like I saw
Or,
at WrestleMania.
or 15 of them and have a poor guy in a car like this.
That too.
Hey, you know, I got to tell you, I've been very impressed with Chelsea lately.
Chelsea Green?
Yeah, she's coming along.
Yeah.
She's coming along. I'm
Kind
still,
of knows what she's doing.
I'm still not a fan though, but I'm watching her.
Her in-ring talent is good. Behind the scenes, oh, that came out loud.
you know, can I bring a topic up that's
Sure.
not on here?
Bring up whatever you want.
On how I express my opinion. too
You
much.
all have been around wrestling quite a while. You, sir, I want to ask you specifically. You like that specifically?
Sure.
My false teeth stayed in. Anyway, if you have a person that's coming in to do a signing, not for you specifically, but coming in to do a signing, an autograph session,
Yes.
and they like wrecking product and throwing product and signing it like shit,
Willie Mays who?
and you pay your hard-earned money,
Mhm.
is it right that they're allowed to do something like that?
Well, they can do whatever they want. It's the promoter's prerogative to bring that talent in. I mean, years
And I'm
ago,
being serious on
years
this.
ago, I had, for those who don't remember, way back when I did shows at the Riviera, and I was the second promoter ever to have Bill Russell, who was the Boston Celtic great. He was notorious for never signing autographs. Rich Altman had him in Boston, and then I cut a deal with him to do the show here. It was people to this day walked in, or I can still. There's no way you have them. Oh, well, I did. I scored a deal with them. I had some partners at the No Fear Company and things like that. That show consisted of Steve Atwater was the lesser of the guests,
Okay.
and Jerry Tarkanian.
Wow.
The other guests were Barry Sanders, Brett Favre, Bill Russell, Mickey Mantle.
That's
Kind of a good
That's
lineup.
a collection of
Yeah.
who's.
I was offered many times Willie Mays, but Willie Mays was notorious for being a complete asshole. If people asked him, like he had a baseball of some sort, could you sign it to Matt or something like that? And if he would purposely like rub his finger over the signature to smear it, roll it back to you, showed very little response of just sitting with his head down. And that's not the autograph guest I want in my events. And that's, how they should treat the fans. The fans put butts in seats and pay your paycheck.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't want to be in that position, don't take that job in life. The other thing is, yes, do I believe in autograph seekers? Matt, you know this I don't. I really don't. Because I worked for the Padres organization for a while. I saw how they were hounded. So any signings or any things you see at my store or on my website, even though like Carrion, you and I have sat down with Carrion, had dinner.
Yes.
I will not ask him to sign a single thing but Carrion or any other people that do signings or it's business and then it's friendship.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they do deserve their privacy. I just ask that, if you see them walking around and they're busy with their family, leave them alone.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
The point I was trying to get is, I think if you're a person that's gone to get an object signed,
Mhm.
it shouldn't be destroyed by the person that's signing it.
Sure. Oh, I totally
And
agree.
that person should be held accountable.
Did you see the
somehow.
MJF video going around?
Don't go there.
No, I agree. But the promoter, in case that would be me, that's their prerogative in bringing those celebrities to the event. You're taking that risk.
Okay.
Now, if they accidentally sign over somebody's name because I want this signed in gold or purple or green, and that happens.
That happens.
But if there's
But where
smeared
he was
signatures
just
or
talking-
tearing up stuff.
That's
Yeah, that is the promoters. Buyer beware when you get celebrity guests. That check them out. Make sure they're not complete asses.
True.
Like Pat Morita.
I appreciate you.
Pat Morita, Karate Kid,
Right.
Mr. Miyagi, Arnold from Happy Days. Great guy until he asked for a glass of wine. And then he became instant asshole. I'm being serious. And I won't sugarcoat. He had one glass of wine, instant asshole.
Jeez.
But, and I felt horrible for the people, that were still there because they came with Happy Days memorabilia, Karate Kid memorabilia, things like that. But no, I totally agree.
Well, I appreciate
We went off topic a little bit, yeah.
I appreciate you fellas, answering that because I've seen a lot of it in here, and it really bothers me that a person's going to spend their hard-earned money, and then you go up and it gets signed and
true. But the other thing is you got to understand is if you're going for autographs, be careful where you're going.
Mm-hmm.
Most of that stuff that you're seeing is when they're at airports or when they're, out and about, or it's made for YouTube special. If they're at a public signing, like I do with my events and things like that, where it's a paid, most of the time the celebrities, not only do I vet them, but are very respectful. But if you're going up to them and they're at dinner with their family, buyer beware.
No, don't do that.
Yeah, but there are people that
all WrestleMania week saw that constantly.
Yeah, and
there was like a hotel, like they were all at.
There was shut them down.
Yeah, there was a lot of people because of the whole Rey Mysterio thing, like that video going around of like people trying to get like their 30 pop signed and flipped out on Mysterio. And they thought they were going to post this video to make Mysterio look bad.
No.
It actually turned around and made all autographers look bad.
Absolutely.
And like one of my friends is really good friends with Kevin Owens. And Kevin straight told him, he goes, the whole like roster agreed not to sign for a while to like teach everybody a lesson. But when it blows over, like everyone goes like far and beyond like above what they should be doing. Like even if you could go to the airport or whatnot, or see him out and about, like be respectful. You know how many times I've like gone over and seen like,
oh, absolutely,
sign this, like just shove it in his face.
Yeah, no,
like Randy Orton was like, have you ever heard the fucking word please?
Yeah. And to go for, to get 20 things signed, it's being resold.
Yeah.
And like I said, I've never done that with my company. When I worked for the Padres organization, I would always put a baseball on the table.
Yeah.
The other team would give me a dozen baseballs to put on the table because they would sell them in the gift shop and stuff like that. I always just put one baseball on the table. And if the guy signed it during their stay, great. So I've got a lot of team baseball signed from back in the days.
Okay.
But the other thing that I go to is how you mentioned, everybody getting a lot of stuff signed. Just a quick little short story, and mine are his short stories. Growing up, Steve Garvey of the Dodgers / Padres was my idol.
Yeah.
Say what you want, Hall of Fame or not, paternity suits, whatever, but he was my idol. And I was working for the Padres the last year he played. And I had a huge baseball card collection with, 90% of the Garvey cards that were produced at that time.
Yeah.
And I had them in my locker because, I have even if you have your own locker, had them in my locker. And he came out of the game early and sat in the locker room and just chatted with me. And for a kid that was, early or late teens, that was just incredible, watching with the Dodgers and that. And I actually said, I have a collection of your cards. He actually asked to see it, and he's flipping through. He goes, "You want me to sign any of them?" I'm like, "No." And he's like, "You sure?" I'm like, he goes, "I'll sign a whole bunch or whatever." And I'm like, "No." I said, "Just sitting here talking to you is good enough." Interesting part was when he left and got on the team bus, he came back into the locker room where I was working and actually handed me a bag that had a baseball in it. And basically a very nice inscription to Scott, one of the best, blah, 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 Steve Garvey. Never asked for it, but I respected him.
Yep.
He treated me the same. And I guess that's, you guys know at my shows, I hate sitting next to the autograph guest because I kind of hate that interaction. I just like to talk to them as an average person.
Yeah.
And, it's just at that time, I'm actually paying them as an appearance. And so I'll go afterwards, have dinner with them or, breakfast, pick them up from the airport, all that kind of stuff. But it just makes me kind of uncomfortable myself. So I understand the whole situation.
That's why we do it for you. And
it is kind of cool. Like after running around as a kid, like going to get autographs and just seeing them for a second. Nah. Last week.
Okay.
But thanks to you and CAC and all that kind of stuff, I kind of got a in with some of these people.
Yeah.
And
new respect
just to sit down with them and sitting there and bullshit about literally anything is just a crazy experience.
You and I did a show a number of years ago down in LA.
Yeah.
And that was awesome. We went to dinner.
Oh, I know.
The people we had there were Carrion.
Yeah.
Tessa.
Right.
Eli.
Right.
Greg Valentine.
Good.
Yeah. Keep going.
What a
Sabu, but he stayed at the hotel with Jeannie. I'm missing somebody. Paul London.
Paul London, yeah.
Yeah, we all went to Applebee's
Marty,
afterwards.
The Moth.
Marty, yeah.
What a crew.
Oh, yeah.
It was,
but we had a great time. Even though they were, in a sense, working for me in that autograph event during the day, we all went to Applebee's afterwards, had a great time, sat there for hours. People were like, who are these people? But, we had fun. We chatted, just like friends. And that's what you should treat them as. So,
one time at CAC, I got went with Wes Briscoe and he's like, hey, do you want to go to TGI Fridays? I ended up at a table with Gerald Briscoe, JR, JBL, Pat Patterson. I'm just like, what is life? What's going on right now?
When I was on the board for CAC, sitting there at a table between Pat Patterson, JR, and now I forgot.
Stone Cold?
No, but
Kevin.
I had three of Vince. Yeah, no, not Carrion. Vince's
Slaughter.
brain trust right there.
Brain trust is right in front of him.
JJ, duh.
JJ,
Jim Ross and Pat Patterson at one time, 3/4 of Vince McMahon's brain.
Well, that's like the night that I was fortunate enough you invited me to sit with you all at the table. JJ, Joe Briscoe, Pat Patterson, and then Gerald's son comes over, and I forget who. Carrion was with us. Kevin was with us, and I forget. There was somebody else. I never laughed so hard in all my life. And I got to tell you, I am so fortunate that you introduced me to JJ, because I have sat down and talked with JJ about him growing up in Trenton and me growing up in Trenton, and reminiscing about our high school days and things like that, and the area and where we used to hang out at, and him wrestling at. He told me a story. He wrestled at Moose Hall, and it got so bad. And that was Moose Hall was the venue in Trenton where they held professional wrestling. And he evidently, it was right around Christmas time, and they brought Ox Baker in. Well, Ox was notorious for trying to start riots. And JJ told me, he said, it got so bad in there that I ran out of the ring. I ran out of the building in my wrestling gear during the snowstorm, and went down to the National Guard Army and had somebody from the National Guard Army go back to Moose Hall to get my stuff so I could be safe. And I can believe,
Sure.
East Coast wrestling fans are nuts.
Yeah, we are.
Well, I can tell you the one memory I will always have of CAC in my days of being on the board, was getting to know through Nick Bockwinkel, who was a good friend of mine,
right?
Bobby the Brain Heenan. Pulling ribs on Bobby. He actually turned around with Mike Tenay one time and looked at me and pointed from the stage and goes, "Nobody has ever gotten me like that before. And it was, yeah, I'll just leave it what it was.
That's okay.
He turned around and looked at Nick because he thought Nick did it. Nick's like, but and that's when Bobby was still Bobby. And then,
I
year
would've loved to met
before
him.
he passed away, he sat at our table where I was sitting. Obviously he was a shell of himself.
Yeah.
Couldn't
It was
speak.
like truly sad to see.
Yeah. I mean, just
Very much so.
but he looked at me, he smiled, and he did this. And
Bobby.
that's Bobby.
Oh,
Right.
Let's got a couple more topics and we'll take a break. Stone Cold Steve Austin said to schedule a new show, and having no time to get into proper ring shape stopped him for wrestling at WrestleMania 39. Do you think he was really on the
there was a rumor that he was going to go against Lesnar.
Do you think?
I just think that was a rumor. I mean, to be honest with you,
Do you think his knees would hold up? Really?
for somebody with a brace on his knee right now, no.
I'm not, but
No, but
he doesn't wear just one. He wears
wears
two.
both, yeah.
He wears
He's got 'em both.
I
Is that
look,
like
I
the-
look like half a Stone Cold right now. But I just like I go back to another conference. I don't want to see him in there.
I don't need.
It's like the nostalgia acts you
Yeah.
always want to see, but you don't want them to like tarnish their legacy at the same time.
If he's going to do an appearance, he does the glass break, comes down, picks up a chair, smacks somebody, walks away. Do not.
All I
get
wanted
him.
to, I didn't want to see him wrestle.
Yeah,
I wanted LA Knight to come out
and
cut
do a
some
promo,
promo.
with him. Yeah,
and then Stone Cold come out just to hear the what
yeah,
and the yeah battle to
Exactly.
go on would have been
yeah. You don't need to see
amazing.
the ring work anymore. It's past.
Let him drive out in the beer truck again. Do the beer truck stint.
Beer truck versus a milk truck.
That would be all right.
Beer truck, milk truck on a rope match.
I would be all right.
Big E says he has no pain and is feeling 100% great 1 year after the injury.
Have the doctors cleared him?
I don't think he's gone to the doctor yet, but hopefully
Don't be stupid.
Biggie, don't hurry.
You have kids.
Do not hurry.
he doesn't.
That's how-
actually.
He doesn't. He's not a
do
Heath.
not
He's single.
hurry.
He's not
about
Heath.
coming
It doesn't mean he
back.
doesn't have kids.
True.
Ask Sean Kemp. Cody Rhodes had meetings in LA during WrestleMania week about potential movie and TV roles. He's done a lot of. He did that game show for a while too.
Yeah, he did Arrow. He's done.
It's
He's
not-
done some stuff, but I guess he wants to be like Ken in the new Mortal Kombat movie. That'd be kind of cool.
Well, you know what? I think it's a good because wrestlers' bodies today don't last as long. So
it's good to have a solid plan B.
Yeah.
Even though I'm
Ask
almost
Brock.
positive he swung that door wide open for wrestlers.
Yeah, exactly.
I still think Cody wins the belt at SummerSlam, so I think he's going to be busy for a while, but I think he's going to have.
You know what? I don't think so. I think it's Hogan and the AWA. He's always going to be chasing. And the fans will always think he's got the belt. Very similar to the Hogan screw job that happened in Minnesota, St. Paul, Minneapolis. 1, 2, 3, Bockwinkel, wrong ref type thing. They gave Hogan the belt for all of a day, and then Stanley Blackburn reversed the decision. You're going to have stuff like that because that brings back old school. Don't forget who trained. Who trained Triple H?
Killer Kowalski.
Killer Kowalski.
It happened down in Texas too.
Mm-hmm.
Nick lost.
I still think. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say Nick lost it down there to Kerry, and turned around next week. They had another match. Nick won it right back. So
I think even talking about like earlier when they said like SmackDown might get their like new belt. Would it like actually mean the same thing, like not beating Roman to be world champion at that point?
No. And I don't think they need 2 belts. I think they need to.
You can't have a world champion on like a limited schedule. He's got to work both shows.
He's got to
if
work
you're
both
gonna
shows,
do-
but look at Flair. Look at Harley. Look at Dusty.
Yeah.
Nick was offered.
Bruno.
Boring.
Yeah, stayed up in that little area, up in that part of the country.
Made a whole lot of money for senior though.
But Nick
lot of
Nick was offered the NWA belt,
Yeah.
and then he went, "How many dates?
No.
I
remember hearing that. Yeah.
Flair and Harley, because he actually called Harley because they were good friends. But those guys traveled the world.
Yeah.
5 out of 7 days they were wrestling somewhere, twice on Sundays, type, the old story. But Flair, when he had the belt, would go to world champion or Texas.
Yep.
For the Von Erichs. He'd go up to Amarillo area. He'd go to the Carolinas. He'd go down to Florida for the Grams.
Memphis.
Go to Memphis.
The only place I don't remember.
And travel was a lot harder back then.
The only 2 places I don't and I'll just say use Flair. I don't remember him going to Portland. And I don't remember him going to San Francisco for Roy Shire.
He did work for Shire.
He did work for
Shire.
Shire.
Worked for Shire.
But I don't remember him going to Portland at all.
I don't remember Portland.
I'm listening to Ric Flair's podcast, and there was he was talking about when he was NWA champion. There was one weekend he went from LA to Japan to England to somewhere else, and then ended up in Minneapolis or some crap. Yeah. I was like, this guy did this in a week? That's nuts.
Yeah. And
wrestlers now would be no.
Yeah.
Never.
And travel was a lot harder. You didn't have all the connections, multiple airlines, things like that. So, it is.
Even when we had Cody Rhodes for the autograph signing, and he was like, yeah, I'm going to Vegas, then LA, New York, Toronto, and then back to somewhere this weekend. I was like, you obviously didn't quit WWE for the schedule.
Yeah.
Because now it's 100 times worse.
Okay, it's bad enough for my glasses, but I can't read the whole.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Here's a question we haven't. Tragically lost Owen would have surpassed his brother's legacy and been champ. Yeah, Owen definitely would have been champion.
Oh, he would have been champion. I don't think he would have. No. And for
I don't think he would have passed his Brett, but
actually, why don't we take a quick commercial break? We've already passed the top of the hour. We'll continue with the AEW and ROH report. But if you can bring up Tom's chat, and then I can respond after that. I'm Scott. You're Matt. He's Chief. John behind the board there, misspelling our names, but that's okay. We'll see you in a few minutes.
This is John Cena. I just wanted to send you a congratulations on your podcast. Thoughts count anywhere. Because indeed they do. Thoughts are important. I mean, what would we do without them? And how can they not count anywhere? Is there a place that thoughts don't count? I can't think of one. Well, I just wanted to say thank you very much, congratulations, and good luck on the podcast. Thoughts count anywhere, because they do.
This is your Warlord of Weird Sin Bodhi, and you are watching Thoughts Count Anywhere right here on Facebook, Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. till 11 a.m. Pacific Coast time. Stay tuned. Do I look like I'm clowning around? Buddy, I'm Aaron Phillips, and I am with the legend. And Sabu, you were telling me earlier about a special wrestling show that you really like, and that is what? Thoughts Count Anywhere, that's a coincidence. The same show that runs Saturdays, 9 to 11 a.m. Pacific, right here on Facebook. You better listen to the man to watch. Okay.
Welcome back to Thoughts Count Anywhere. The little commercial there. Shout out to Sabu. Hope he's feeling well. And I am Scott Hosey, filling in for Aaron Phillips. This is the Chief. That's Matt Mullen down there. Let's continue on with the AEW ROH report. Reports say Chris Jericho is now Tony Khan's closest confidant in AEW right now. Surprise?
That ain't a surprise. I thought he always was, honestly.
Do you think that the Twinkies can actually run an organization? No. And Jericho's there. We know there's heat between Jericho and another individual, which I've always said is a complete asshole. Nobody believed me. He's a worthless piece of shit talent. But rumor has it he's coming back.
Yeah.
God, I hope not.
Thank you. Anyway, Matt, do you think he's coming back?
I think once they announce the first show of their new Saturday show is at the United Center, I think it's just writing on the wall of when he's coming back.
Bring him back in Chicago and have him job.
Why does AEW go to Chicago literally every month?
It's a hotbed for wrestling. It's like the Carolinas.
It is.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And you can pull here's the thing. You got to think about organizations, and it's what Vegas had an issue with years ago. Times have changed. Is Vegas doesn't have a suburb.
Nope.
Henderson is not a suburb.
Nope.
Our closest suburb is Phoenix.
Yep.
In the Southern California, LA area. So,
Yeah.
so you're looking 3-4 hours each way.
Yeah.
Chicago, within an hour, you got 4 or 5 major cities. So they
True.
can draw from those areas.
Yeah.
That's why the National Sports Card Show is always pretty much in Chicago, because
Yeah.
they have it's center of the country. You know, if you are going to travel in, it's not too far, but you got Milwaukee. I mean, you got a whole bunch of other little,
Minneapolis,
yeah,
Cleveland,
yeah,
Detroit,
exactly.
St. Louis.
Detroit, yeah. So
Pittsburgh.
it's easy travel to draw from those. So you know, Chicago is easy
Yeah.
money.
Gotcha.
But you know, I was going to say, and I agree with you, Scott. You know, you go back and look at it. You had places like Chicago, Charlotte, Philadelphia, Madison Square. You go down into New Orleans. Then you go over into Arkansas, where Bill Watts was. Then you go down. You had, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, Tully's granddad and Fritz both ran wrestling down in Texas. Is that correct?
You mean
Mike?
you mean Joe Blanchard,
Yeah, Joe.
dad,
Yeah.
Tessa's granddad.
Yes.
But yeah, it was San Antonio area. Yeah.
And then Fritz was down in the Dallas
area.
area. Okay. And then you have Pittsburgh and Portland, and you had Roy Shire in California, and that was when you traded bits and pieces.
It's travel. The International Hockey League, the IHL, that was here when we had the Las Vegas Thunder. The reason that league folded was because the Thunder left. Because we were the middle point, we were the hub from San Diego, LA, the Ice Dogs, going up to Salt Lake to Phoenix. We were that hub, and we had made travel interesting. But
Are we going to be the hub for the athletics now?
All I know is I'll be going to the Yankee games.
due to the expanding television, I think this is hilarious.
Go
Due to
ahead.
the expanding television schedule, AEW is limiting talents to indie dates and obviously their non-TV dates.
True.
When you only put about 200 people in seats at times, it's a little hard to rent an arena.
True.
200 paid versus, you get 3,000 in there, but only 200 paid. That's a little difficult.
A little bit, but I figured like this was coming anyway, just if like they're gonna expand everything and try to do more TV shows. You don't want like your top talent being like, oh, I'm gonna go to this.
But a lot of that talent left WWE because we talked about it earlier about limiting what I can make on other projects and that. Isn't that why a lot of people went to AEW?
Yeah.
They were able to have their own creative, type thing, but all they're becoming is baby WWE.
Yep.
WWE Light.
Yeah, exactly.
No more
AEW is
athletic.
set to start focusing on Sting's retirement. Didn't we already have one? Shouldn't Sting have retired a long time ago? He's just a complete shell of himself also.
Well,
He can do the sting. He can do the stinger splash, and then he rolls out of the ring for 10 more minutes to catch his breath. And I was a Sting fan. I liked but
Who do you think Sting's last match should be against in AEW?
Sting's last match should be against Ric Flair. I mean, if you go how it went, in their careers,
Makes sense.
yeah. I mean,
If Ric
it's
Flair
all-
wants one more match to make up for that last match,
Yeah. But I honestly think that Hall of Fame talent, Emmitt Smith, did not retire as a Cardinal.
no,
1-day contract with the Cowboys.
yeah,
I think, talent like that is a zero cost contract, but talent like that, go back, make your amends. That's, Emmitt Smith, nobody remembers him as a Cardinal.
I was confused as hell when you said Cardinal for a second. I was like, oh yeah, he was for a minute.
Yeah.
But, and Joe Montana as a Chief,
That was so dumb.
people don't remember, Jerry Rice as a Seahawk.
Nope.
Sign those 1-day contracts, go back, make your amends, and put that stamp on your legacy, plant that flag.
I wonder if Sting's collecting Social Security yet.
He should be. He's in his 60s.
He's 64.
I want to see MJF start retiring all the older people just to
Fuck
see.
MJF.
That's their only talent they have, in my opinion. Darby Allin, who I don't think is a good talent, will face Sammy on Dynamite with the winner to face MJF at Double or Nothing.
I thought we were going to get a lot bigger of a main event than Darby Allin versus MJF at Double or Nothing. But
yeah,
I thought.
First of all,
I thought Sammy and MJF worked something out to where it's going to be Sammy wrestling MJF out here at Double or Nothing.
They're having a pillars tournament because those four are like the four pillars of AEW. And Darby Allin got the bye.
Correct.
MJF helped Sammy win, so now it's Sammy versus Darby. Next week, the winner goes against MJF.
Yeah,
and you know Sammy's not winning this because you're not going to put two heels in the main event of their biggest pay-per-view.
But there was
how do you have time to figure this out in your life?
There was a thing though on the show.
It's a 4-person tournament. It ain't that complicated.
There was a thing on the show though that where Sammy and MJF got together.
Yeah.
And MJF gave Sammy a blank check.
That basically, if he goes against him at Double or Nothing, he has to lay down for him, but he's not going to get two Double or Nothing.
You don't think
down
so?
For.
You don't think so?
No.
What's he laying down for?
For Teo.
But let me ask this. I thought Sammy was Jericho's boy in the faction.
He still is.
Well, I wonder, looking at what I saw
Jericho in the main event.
No, what I saw in the
after that, it's going to be Jericho
show,
and Cole for sure.
In the show, it was to me it looked like Sammy and MJF were kind of getting buddy, and I'm just wondering if Sammy's going to do a turn on him on Jericho somewhere down the line. And
I think they're already teasing it because when they're doing like their promos. Somebody said, Sammy, you won like all these titles by yourself, and now you're just known as Jericho's bitch.
And so maybe the Chiefs right on one, huh?
1 of 100, yes.
Continuing on, as Aaron Phillips would say,
give me some.
AEW signs Commander to a contract after his match with Jay White on Dynamite.
If Jay White didn't save him from like 4 or 5 different botches, he wouldn't have got a contract. Good.
I got to tell you,
there was
I'm
so
not
much
a Jay White
flippy,
fan, so.
crazy shit. In
like
that
you said,
match.
right there, Jay White is nothing but flippy. That's all he does.
Commander's nothing but flippy, but
yeah.
Jay White literally saved that guy from either injury or fucking up something crazy.
Big time.
Wardlow wins back the TNT Championship. Does anybody care about that championship?
You know what? I'm glad he won it back, but what I don't understand is why they only kept it on his opponent for
Powerhouse Hog.
Yeah, they only had it on him a couple months, and that was it.
They flip that belt so often.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's a 24/7 belt.
Almost,
pretty much.
Almost.
Dax Harwood shuts down podcast over too much backlash inside and outside of the business.
Yeah, you don't talk about children.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'll bring it up.
Yep.
We talked about this earlier, and I'm going to say it so everybody can understand it right now.
When did you talk about children?
We're wrestling fans first and foremost, okay? And when you or I, as a wrestling fan, do something that's uncalled for, and you don't think there's going to be repercussions, folks? Well, I'm going to tell you what. I back Mr. Harwood 100% shutting these podcasts down because you do not bring up people's families. It's uncalled for. You know, as I say, if you don't like what I say, well, just bring it. Comment. Pick up the phone, 702-942-3207. Give me a call. I'll gladly talk to you. Or meet me outside, and I'll gladly talk to you outside. Not a problem.
With a kendo stick.
You're damn right. And I can handle a kendo stick. Believe me. But you don't mess with children.
Very true.
Period.
I think that goes back to common courtesy of what our country has become.
Thank you, sir.
Should AEW sign Goldberg?
Dear God, no. I like how there was people online literally petitioning for Tony Khan to have Goldberg versus CM Punk in a match in AEW.
Goldberg.
I was like, shut the hell up.
Goldberg.
Delete Twitter now.
It's going to happen in Chicago.
All right. Well, Rebellion Impact results here. Mal, why don't you read? Why don't you do a rundown here of the results of Impact Rebellion?
Sure.
And,
Champagne Singh and Shara defeated Heath and Rhino.
Okay.
And then we had the Coven retain the Knockouts tag team titles against the Death Dolls. Ace Austin and Chris Bay, now known as ABC, defeated the Motor City Machine Guns to retain their tag team titles. Joe Hendry, Dirty Dango, and Santino Marella defeated the Design. It was cool to see Santino hit the Cobra again.
Hey, my boy,
after all these years.
My boy Dango, man. Mr. Dirty. Yes.
PCO defeated Eddie Edwards in the last rights match. Everybody saw that coming.
Sure.
That guy's still not human. I don't care what anybody says. Trey Young retained his X Division title, beating Mike Bailey and Jonathan Gresham in a crazy, crazy match. Team Dreamer defeated Team Bully in Hardcore War. Prayers out to Tommy Dreamer and his family. As he said, he's taking time off because his family members are pretty ill and he's going to take care of them.
Yep.
Nick Aldis returned to Impact Wrestling.
Shocking. Okay.
That's not shocking to literally anybody. And then since Josh Alexander relinquished the title, the main event was to declare a new champion, and Steve Macklin defeated Kushida to win the Impact World Championship.
Okay. Matt kind of figured that one too, didn't we?
Oh, and Deonna Purrazzo defeated the disgusting Jordan Grace to be the Knockouts champion.
Okay.
What has she done?
So now we have like a new power couple in Impact Wrestling because Deonna and Steve are both champions.
Yeah. And then Nick and Mickey, should team up against.
Dear, no. I don't like where this is going already.
No.
Why do I see Nick with the belt pretty soon? Okay.
So do I now. No.
I just told.
Don't call people and give them ideas. You know people that are like influential.
Impact Indie results. Goldberg talked at least one international promoter about a 4-city tour as a retirement match. Says he will not give up on wrestling career without a retirement match. Technically, he's had a lot of retirement matches. He's put a lot of people in retirement, unfortunately.
He's retired too many people. Ask Brett.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
He needs to leave on his back like you should.
My favorite person in the world, next to Nia Jax. Mercedes said she will not stop till she's recognized as one of the top wrestlers on the planet, including men. That's just hilarious. Could she?
They get better. The whole interview was freaking hilarious.
What's she smoking?
Could she make that happen in Japan or does
No.
Hell no.
First of all, attitude gets you nowhere, young lady, and I'll tell you that to your face.
Well,
it just no. I mean, the fact that obviously WWE wasn't good enough for her, which made her a freaking millionaire.
You should see the next bullet point.
I know. The fact that you didn't have AEW, Impact, Ring of Honor, I can keep going down the list. No disrespect. Joe didn't even want to pay her. You had to go overseas to get a job.
Yeah.
but the thing is, if you
keep away from Snoop Dogg's shit.
Reputation is everything in the wrestling
If
business.
you've never been to Japan or wrestled over in Japan, it's a different culture.
And better have respect over there.
They're not going to tolerate.
No,
bullshit.
they're doing it to put butts in seats right away.
They're not going to tolerate it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know who's running the two major companies over there. It used to be Antonio Inoki and Giant Baba.
both have gone.
Both have passed on, but I don't know who's running the companies now. But you're not going to pull that bull crap over there. I'll just put it that
They
way.
will beat the crap out of you, hardcore.
They will use kendo sticks.
No. Anyway, Mercedes says that WWE isn't the big time, and she just bitter with WWE.
Hell yeah, she is. I don't know. I still don't understand how that whole thing happened over being booked wrong as the tag team champions. Like,
The only person that really hurt was Naomi.
yeah. And even though, like, skip a few, Stardom tried to sign her with Mercedes Moné, Sasha Banks, whatever you want to call her, but Stardom didn't want to pay her the money she asked for, so I don't know, like, what got into her either, but that ruined Naomi's career for sure.
It did. I mean, especially who she's married to. She's part of the bloodline.
Yeah.
So they were going to take care of her no matter what.
Well, and that's what I was going to say. Even though it unfortunately happened, being married to one of the Usos and the longevity of the family, they're taken care of.
You also walk a different line.
Yes. Very much
when
so.
you're in a family type of arrangement,
Yes.
as the bloodline is. Rikishi was at my event a couple months back, and he and I had some conversation. Yes, they're taken care of, but you also have respect for the business because you have the history there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good, bad, or indifferent. And she was taken down a bad path by Sasha. And I'll call her Sasha. I don't care what you want to call yourself.
You can call her
Yeah.
whatever you want to call her.
Starts with a B.
Oh, well,
Ends with an H.
I was giving you latitude. I was giving you latitude, sir.
As you guys are aware, and I've mentioned it before on the show, I was on travel with my other job in Knoxville and walked into the hotel, and I'm looking at EC3 at the front desk with me. And I'm like, huh? Didn't dawn onto me that it was Monday, and that night they were
traveling
in Knoxville.
They were in Knoxville.
Yeah.
I'm sitting with Ricochet and a few people at the bar. A few minutes later, bullshitting like we always do, and Bailey and Sasha are at the other end, and the guys are trying to, just have conversation, and they acted to them like they were just non-existent.
That's insane.
Bailey and
Bailey and Sasha. And I'm glad Bailey got away from that because I've heard Bailey's attitude has changed a little bit on the personal side because she was leading a bad path. And obviously when Bailey got hurt, she had to go away a little bit, but then all of a sudden, you had Naomi jump in there and then bad path. It's done well for her career. But yeah, it just attitudes like that. First of all, I never thought she was a great talent. There's reasons why she was billed the way she was, but no, that's why she'll be in Japan for a short term, and then she'll be hopefully keeping that Disney contract for The Mandalorian because that's all she's got going right now.
Is she still?
She's on The Mandalorian.
No. I was going to say.
Spoiler alert.
Is she still wrestling in Japan?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's
their champion. Yeah.
Oh.
But I heard her contract's almost up and she's trying to negotiate for like one more match. So if that goes sideways,
they could pay her.
Mandalorian's already done filming, so I don't know what she got to do.
She's got 2 years for the next trilogy to come out.
They could pay her in sushi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to skip the next one. I want to leave that for the last topic. MLW heavyweight champion Alexander Hammerstone possibly tore his groin during the War Chambers match. And the match had to be adjusted on the fly.
You'll find out. I'll find out. Next week, supposedly he's wrestling.
And we go into Stardom. Obviously, didn't sign Naomi. Nope. She wanted too much money.
Yep.
And Jordan Grace becomes a free agent after Rebellion.
First
of all, what the hell did she do? I mean,
ask Ryan. Ask Ryan. He knows who did it. He knows her dealer.
I thought we were going down that path, but I wasn't sure. High five.
Did I miss something?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'll tell you later.
Yeah.
All right.
So here's the topic.
I know something you don't know.
So
there's a reason it happened so fast.
We're after this next topic, which is going to take a few minutes.
Yes.
We'll take our last commercial break so Aaron can pay some bills. if one of his books sells. Ex-TNA wrestler.
Cable bills do.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I'll call my mom.
Yeah. Ron is
BR
suing-
549.
She is suing a multitude of people, including The Rock, Nikki Bella, Jim Cornette, Billy Corgan, and even the late Chris Benoit for conspiracy to kidnap her and her family. She is seeking $3 billion.
Drugs are bad, okay?
Step away from the cocaine, okay? I mean, seriously. First of all, when, how long, statute of limitations. I'm sure I just threw that in there for the hell of it because I'm pretty sure Chris Benoit has passed the statute of limitations.
A little bit.
In more ways than one. You know,
I don't think he's going to hang around for the trial either.
I think he's going to be a little late.
He's a little stiff on dates now. How did a court let this go through? They said she can continue on with this thing. If I was a judge, I would have been like, no.
I want to see Judge Judy on this. but seriously, I mean, explain this to me. She was going to be kidnapped as a child.
Apparently. I don't.
From who? First of all, you've got WWE/F. You've got Billy Corgan. Did she go to Smashing Pumpkins while the wrestling match was going on? I don't get it.
I don't either. It was 30 names. I only named a couple of names.
Yeah, I saw.
But there was a ton of them.
According to the site, the lawsuit was filed against dozens of parties that include wrestling legends, promoters, NBA legend Michael Jordan, various police departments, and at least one individual, Chris Benoit, who has been dead for 16 years. The lawsuit alleges that the defendants conspired to kidnap plaintiff and her children. The site notes that the 48-page lawsuit most consists of the list of the defendants, some of whom are listed multiple times.
Does it say how old her children are?
No.
47.
Her children are 47?
No, she's 41.
Kids got to be in their 20s.
So this
obviously, if they were going to be kidnapped because Benoit died at 60
this
years ago.
lawsuit,
5?
This lawsuit includes the state of Texas, the El Paso Child Protective Services, the FBI, the Las Cruces, New Mexico Police Department, the NYPD, National Center for Missing and Exploited Children,
Mexico, New York.
Border,
Dwayne The Rock Johnson, the Miz and Maurice.
Say hello to my little friend.
Keith Miller, Nikki Bella, Chris Benoit, Mark Jindrak, Panda Energy, Home Depot, Florida Championship Wrestling, Steve Kern, the NWA, Billy Corgan, Deep South Wrestling, Bank of America, Michael Jordan, several universities, Jim Cornette, Mick Foley, New York City Area Energy Company, Con Edison, and more. Holy
And
shit.
Thoughts Count.
And Thoughts Count Anywhere.
And Thoughts Count Anywhere is being named in the court case.
Hell yeah.
It's the best publicity we'd ever get.
I swear to God, I would show up as a defendant just to see what the hell happens.
Can you? Holy God.
She should be the next poster child for the DARE program.
She's 41 years old.
I don't think she's going to make it to 42 being this fucking crazy.
Wow. Now I'll just say it. I don't know, and you know me about drugs and alcohol, but I'm going to say that lady's got a problem.
What lawyer took this case?
I
And even saw these names and were like, yeah, this is a good idea.
Same lawyer that's trying to defend Sonny. Tammy,
He's been looking for
Tammy, I love you, but
her whole defense is, can we get a plea deal?
I've known Tammy for years.
That court case of hers is going to be what, New Jersey, I believe. Isn't it?
Hit Ringling Brothers.
No, Ringling Brothers in Florida.
Florida man
As
versus
Peanut would say.
You like that?
If anybody in the chat room can explain this court case to me, please put it there. Please. Besides the word drugs anywhere in your chat.
Drugs are bad. I'm good.
Oh my God. All right. So
Listen to this.
wait, there's more.
Wait. Biggers still has a bench warrant for her arrest after she failed to appear in December on the charges. Biggers was indicted on the charges in August 2019 and was at one point one of the most wanted fugitives in El Paso when she didn't show up to court. She was finally arraigned in December of that year after no showing 2 court appearances and having her bail revoked. So
Why did we even give her press time?
no shit.
Seriously, why
Is
did
New Mexico that like not crime ridden that somebody didn't show up for court and they were
El
in the
Paso
most-
That was
area.
El Paso,
El Paso.
Texas.
which I was just there not too long ago.
So
Okay.
somebody didn't show up to court in El Paso and they're like the most wanted fugitive in freaking Texas?
Hey,
I think they got a couple more fish to fry than that.
If you ever been to El Paso, it's there's a freeway and you look over one side. Juarez, no.
and many wrestlers that wrestled down there for Gory Guerrero went over into Mexico and had to get bailed out.
Which, by the way,
Yes, sir. Did I stir a point up?
No, you mentioned Gory.
Gory.
I tried to do something very nice for myself and very respectful. I could not find it. It is wrong on the GPS. I was in Phoenix, Scottsdale area, and I wanted to pay my respects to Eddie.
Oh, yeah.
Because his grave is there. It was literally a block from the hotel.
Yeah.
So usually I'd walk, but I drove.
No.
And I limped, I'll say, around the cemetery for probably an hour. Just wanted to, because Vicky, I know, watches the show or not.
Sure.
I tried to give my respects. After the class I was in down in Phoenix, and it wasn't double A or triple A,
Yeah.
class. It was after 5 o'clock, so the office for the cemetery was closed. But I did try. Not that I'm gruesome or anything like that, but just
Out of respect.
out of respect for Eddie.
Makes sense.
It's like Bill Anderson. That's like what he does.
Yeah,
He
and
goes
I
around,
actually tried to reach out to Bill because I know he's been there, and I was like,
Where is this?
there's a thing on the funeral cemetery website. It gives the exact GPS location. Trust me, I know how GPS works. I do that for satellite work.
Well,
And I was right there, and I'm like, no,
Damn it,
that
where's
ain't
that?
it. And I'm thinking, and unfortunately, next to him was a grave that was being built or dug or prepared or however.
Yeah.
Not a disrespect. And I'm thinking,
No.
oh crap, But I have read enough today.
You want me to read it?
Go
I'll
for
be-
it, sir.
I'll
We'll
be
give you some airtime. Because especially we got 20 minutes for 10 names, so I'll give him the chief.
It's time for birthdays.
Birthdays!
We're on
Birthdays. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. That's how I do it all the time. On April 22nd, we have Ezekiel Jackson and Chuck Taylor. Somebody asked me who Chuck Taylor is. I could tell him. So I did pretty good on that. April 23rd, anyway, productive day. Tony Atlas, Terry Gordy, John Cena, Dominic Dijakovic, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, Moose, and Jesse Goddards. I told you it was a busy day. April 24th, the late, great world champion Lou Thez. April 25th, Chubby Dudley, one of the Dudley boys from the ECW era. April 26th, Crusher Jerry Blackwell. There's a good wrestler right there.
Drop kick at his weight.
You got it. From
Standing drop kick.
Stone Mountain,
Georgia.
Kane, Yeti, The Amazing Red, and Tank Abbott. April 27th, Vladimir Kozlov and Johnny Devine. April 28th, Alex Riley, Drew Gulak, and Starr. That's it this week for birthdays, folks. The Chiefy over and out. So anyway,
I like how, Fez, you always, because you and I definitely do the history part here with Thomas. Lou was the first president I was on the board of with CAC. He was
really?
our president at the time.
I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, and I still remember having dinner with his lovely wife Charlie. Sam's Town. There was the Billy Bob's Barbecue was downstairs at the time.
Yeah, back in the corner.
Back in the corner.
Yep.
And having dinner with him and Charlie, and just reminiscing about old times. And I about once a year I can reach out to Charlie.
He was a tough-nosed wrestler.
Definitely a shooter.
Oh, yeah.
And the story that I have of Nick telling me when Nick Bockwinkel was breaking in, he's in the locker room, and there is a young man here that I had some influence on early on, Cody, who learned, you walk in the room, you shake everybody's hand.
Yep.
If you know what the hell you're doing.
Yeah.
You shake everyone and show everybody respect. And even as world champion, Lou at the time, walked in the locker room and was shaking everyone's hand, going down the line. When he got to little Nicky Bockwinkel, Nick looked up at him and said, "What? You want me to piss on your lap?" Lou, and I mean, this is Lou Thez, the world champion of all, the world at that time, laughs and walks on. And Nick had a lot of the veterans, because he was still little Nicky Bockwinkel, look at him and go, "What the fuck are you doing?" And Lou came over and sat down next to him, put his arm, and he's wondering. The story goes that Warren Bockwinkel, obviously Nick's dad, Nick and Warren were very close.
Right.
And so Nick actually was babysat by Lou and Charlie early on. And, obviously kids in diapers do certain things. And it was just a funny story. And, those are the stories I have of Nick. And,
He's such a good guy.
It was a wonderful guy. So we got about 10 minutes left, and we have our pop culture. Did I miss anything? Did I miss you, Aaron? I don't miss you, but that's okay. But with that being said, some pop culture stuff. We'll start off with the lovely city of Oakland.
Do we have to?
I don't think anybody's ever said that sentence.
I know, lovely in city of Oakland, and yeah,
Go ahead.
Even my wife, who
Go ahead.
that side of the fence, this is a shithole. Okay, yeah. For those who have not been up to the Bay Area, Oakland and San Francisco until recently was like Juarez and El Paso.
Facts.
Oakland was a shithole. It still is. To go across the bridge, you pay $15, and thousands upon thousands of people go across the bridge, and none of that money goes into the streets. The Coliseum. I mean, for those who don't remember, the A's actually played opening day baseball here probably about 15 years ago.
I remember that
because the Coliseum had flooded with sewage, and they couldn't play their first home series there. So they actually played their first home series opening weekend at Cashman Field. Wow. So we have ties to, and my old boss, Don Logan, for the Aviator Stars 51s. Shout out to Don. Has always had ties with Oakland, Billy Bean and the group there. But we have stolen everything. Somebody put in a chat room, are we going to steal their basketball team too? And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me?
That's going to be the only thing they have left is the Golden State Warriors.
And the fact that, yes, they already lost their basketball team because the Golden State Warriors actually played in the parking lot of the Coliseum. Their arena's right there, or was. They moved over. I think it started off as Chase Bank Arena or something like that, over in the middle of San Francisco. Very nice arena. So Oakland has pretty much lost all their teams. I think they have a soccer team, but nobody cares. Yeah, we've stolen all their teams. But you know what? I can't say we've stolen them. They have lost them, because obviously the Raiders in Oakland always had a tenuous relationship because they, back and forth to LA. The A's, they've been telling them for years to build us a new stadium, put us somewhere. I think it's the last of the cookie cutter type venues that are still there, because back in the 60s, early 70s, the stadiums, instead of redesigning, they basically did cookie cutter places. Yes. Now you have the three oldest stadiums right now, or actually four, I think, is Boston, Wrigley, Dodger Stadium, believe it or not.
Yeah.
And actually, if you want to call it Angel Stadium or wherever they play down there.
Yeah. The Sombrero.
The Big A or whatever.
Yeah.
No. Is Oakland going to be first of all, I think there's too many sports teams here already. For our economy, for our population, we do not have 5 million people here like a Phoenix. They are going to keep the Aviators here. So, which they're playing off the fact that you have the Golden Knights and you have the Silver Knights.
Yeah.
First of all, a lot less games, 40 less games. If you go to a Golden Knights game, pretty much 60, like Oakland, or not Oakland, I'm sorry, the Raiders, half the crowd is the other team.
Yeah.
And you go to Ryan and I went to the Oilers game. There are more Oilers fans in the crowd than really Golden Knights fans. You can say all you want, but
There was a couple like Oiler fans that were in walking around downtown, and I was like starting to talk to them, and I was like, "Oh, you guys here for the game?" And they were like, "Yeah, it's cheaper to come to Vegas to go
in
to a
Canada?
Golden Knights Oilers game than it is to go to an Oilers game at home."
yeah, well, very similar to how I used to travel to LA to see the Knights, even though I had season tickets, which officially I gave up my tickets this year. The same, going to Phoenix up until their new stadium or lack thereof of 5,000 seats. But the snowbirds come down here because it's a lot warmer too.
When I worked at the hotel, a lot of them came down. They'd get special packages, airline and hotel and everything. So it made them, it made it a lot more pleasing for them to come down, and a lot cheaper, like you were saying, than going to Canada, than them going to their home games in Canada.
Yeah, you can get like vacation and a hockey game out of it. So
Exactly. The only thing with this, with Oakland, and I read an interesting thing this morning. It looks like that the A's are going to play at the stadium up.
Well, yeah, because it's going to take them about 2.5, 3 years to build a stadium, but you can build a casino in a year. Ask Station Casinos.
But I this is my thought. Okay, I don't want the Oakland Athletics here. If we're going to get a baseball team, build it from the ground up. I've been around baseball so long. The Oakland A's are the minor league team of the New York Yankees. Billy Beane has traded off so many players to the Yankees. Now, their best player, their first baseman that they had, they traded. Well, he was a free agent, left last year. He's playing down in Atlanta now. Mm-hmm. So they've got nobody to build a team on. We've got their AAA team here. Mm-hmm. We can see what they've got at AAA. Mm-hmm. Not much.
I think even when we got the Golden Knights at first,
I'll leave it at that.
I think a lot of hockey fans are excited to cheer on the team, but didn't really know about the team. But they're more excited to see the away teams.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But then the Golden Knights got really good, and they were everyone just
moons, planet, and stars aligned for the Golden Knights. That's what happened.
Here's going to be the interesting.
But the Ace sucks, so everyone's going to go for the away.
Here's going to be the interesting question. Look at what the Oakland A's tickets are right now over in Oakland. Mm-hmm. When they come over here next year,
they're going to be
10 times the price.
Thank you.
Well, they're going to be that because obviously they're going to have to do some stuff to Las Vegas Ballpark because both teams are going to be playing there. So it's going to be a challenge on schedule. So there's going to be a lot of wear and tear on that field. They're not going to have, a team comes in for 8 or 12 games, homestand, and then have 8 or 12 games to redo the field. That's going to be every day that field's going to have.
Getting on Tropicana is going to be such a pain in the ass.
The location of the stadium, Station Casinos, the Fertitas, God bless you. Everybody wondered why when they were off in the Fiesta properties and Texas Station and they off the Palms, why they bought the Wild Wild West.
Yep.
Because that's where the stadium is going to be.
Yep.
It's not going to be at the Rio. Everybody thinks it's at the Rio. No, it's on Tropicana, not Flamingo.
It's down past.
Yes. It's where the Wild Wild West, the little shithole casino, used to be across from the
Orleans?
No,
not across from it, but
was it Chick-fil-A? No, it's In-N-Out Burger.
In-N-Out.
The first In-N-Out burger we had. Yeah. It's that little shithole casino, hooker-ridden place.
Right.
That they bought that land. And everybody's like, why? And then they didn't build anything on it. They leveled everything, and it's been kind of leveled for a number of like 2 years now.
It's down past the Legion Stadium, correct?
South
Going
of it.
south.
It's north.
North of it.
North of Legion.
It's north of the
North
Legion.
of-
Holy shit! Can you imagine what?
It's almost right
It's
across
right-
from T-Mobile.
It's right
though.
across from T-Mobile.
Can you imagine?
On the other side of the bridge.
They're trying. And why did they stations buy that property unless they knew something? And then all of a
Inside
sudden,
trading.
what?
Mhm.
No.
But if there's some kind of event at T-Mobile in that ballpark and like Allegiant at the
Has
same
Taylor
time,
Swift or something like that, Tropicana is going to be a freaking.
I'm never
nightmare.
getting on the 15 ever again.
Can you imagine what Frank Sinatra is going to be like?
Traffic around there is good.
I thought he's dead, but that's okay.
No, I mean Frank Sinatra
The drive. Oh yeah.
I remember when like SmackDown was here.
And what
I thought I was
T-Martin's
gonna cut through like
Holy shit.
that area to
Uh-uh.
get to MGM from work, and I forgot Taylor Swift was there the same day.
Yep.
Oh my god!
What's it going to be? Or they have the one at the what the hell's the hotel next to Aria? The other one.
Cosmo,
No, not on that.
Planet Hollywood,
No, right in front of team. You've got T-Mobile Arias
Park
here.
MGM.
Park MGM with the
New York.
with no Park MGM, and they've got the concerts in there.
Oh yeah.
That'll tie it up too.
And heaven forbid there be a jousting thing at
But here's
Excalibur.
the question: where the hell's the parking going to be?
I was about to say if they don't build parking for this damn
They're not going
stadium,
to build parking. I mean, we almost lost. People don't realize we almost lost the Raiders last minute because at a stadium that holds 63,000 something people, you're supposed to have like 17,000 parking spots.
Yep.
They have less than 5.
Yep.
I mean,
that's
now
why they
have
charge $100 to park.
yeah, and that's why they bus everybody in. They've done a great job, for the most part. Unless there's a BTS concert.
I've always said, why don't they?
It's the only straight guy there. Who we kidding?
Why don't they build out by the racetrack?
Because there's no fans that will go out there.
Why?
From now, and I know you're going to say, well, the race does it. Race fans are completely different. They go
different breed of people.
No.
They take their campers.
Trailers move.
No.
Their houses are on wheels. They go out there and park.
I've got a redneck. What are you trying to say, sir?
Yeah, exactly. So,
But no,
I-
wait, stop.
Sure.
Stop. You ever been to Yankee Stadium?
yes,
How do you get there?
you go by a train,
Overhead, huh?
or in some cases underground.
Or
Yeah.
underground? Okay.
Yours was on cart and horse, but that's okay.
So you do an overhead.
like a monorail?
Oh shit! Ain't that smart?
Yeah, that stopped at MGM instead of going to the airport.
And-
Thank you,
and-
Cab
and then-
Association.
And then you run it up.
You
run it out to the
do,
airport.
You do know there is one individual that's actually planning beneath us, building a
Yeah.
yes, Mr.
Yeah.
Elon Musk.
Yeah.
They have talked that he's actually going to put stations at those locations now.
Smart.
Guy's got brains.
But what I'm saying, plenty
If he
of
wasn't
land,
foreign, he'd be our next president.
plenty of land out there.
Secretary of Defense Dwayne Johnson.
Plenty of land out there.
Well, I totally agree. Or out by South Point,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
South Point.
closer to the Strip.
Yeah.
And our last
That's a
topic
good-
for
that's a good
today.
one. That's a good one.
Playoff hockey. Go Oilers. Oilers is my pick, even though they lost last night.
If you're betting on them, yes. If you're betting on
Do you think the Knights have a chance?
I think they might squeeze by the Jets by like the skin of their teeth in game 6 or 7, but I don't know if they're going to get past the next one.
they have
Playoff hockey to me is a lot different. You need a goaltender with a name.
they
Vasilevsky.
they have as
You
much
have, in the
chance.
history, you have Brodeur, Waugh, Marc-Andre Fleury, for those Knights fans who can remember him. Brissett is not a name.
No.
How
How do we have Jonathan Quick on the roster? He wasn't even dressed
Yeah.
yesterday.
I mean, Hollabach for the Jets. I mean, you have names out there. I honestly, my pick early on, I put it in the chat room, is the
Yeah.
Oilers versus the Bruins.
I hate every Boston team on this planet, so the Oilers better win that if that happens. It's almost a crime against hockey that Connor McDavid doesn't have a Stanley Cup.
Connor McDavid will never be the greatest Edmonton Oiler because he's living
Oh,
in
he's
somebody's shadow.
got Gretzky.
Yeah.
There's no way.
But that man is
If there was ever a 1 and a 1A in a franchise,
Oh,
that's,
yeah.
that's it.
And for all the Knights fans that think the next coming of Jack Eichel, he's the next team's bobblehead. One hit, he's done. First of all, take nothing away from Jack Eichel. He's a great skater.
Hmm?
And he's a great scorer on NHL 23.
He actually is. He's like my
Yeah.
leading goal scorer in the game.
The trouble
by
is,
far.
he's a one-man show. If you looked at the last, I mean, granted, he scored, I think he was second leading scorer. I think Marchessault.
Yeah.
But ask Buffalo how their playoff runs went. Oh, they didn't have any. Okay. If you have the greatest U.S. player, I don't care U.S., Canadian, but if you have one of the greatest players on your team, you're making the playoffs.
Yeah.
Buffalo never made the playoffs.
No.
Okay. Last year we missed it. This year,
One
I think we
player
lucked
don't
out.
make the team.
Yeah, one
though,
player
sir.
doesn't make the team.
I
His passing and his selfishness. I was at the game where he circled the goal 3 times, and I give him credit. He scored the goal. But when you have the other 4 players on the ice literally put their sticks down because it's a one-man show, it goes back to Kobe when he was younger. Hopefully, he grows up and learns to pass the ball. Watch Kobe's last speech.
He went to me and Ryan went to
He
a
even
game.
mentions it.
Yeah, when me and Ryan went to one of the Knights games, it wasn't like overtime. And I was like, the Knights going to score? And then Eichel got the puck, and he was just like, I'm going to do this myself. Fuck it.
Yeah.
And he just skated around everybody and scored. I was like,
But the thing of it is, that doesn't make a season.
no.
No.
Yeah.
Now you asked the question: will the Knights go on?
Who do they got?
They played tonight.
Yeah, they played.
I think there's a good chance that they can go
Oh, I
to
think
the
they-
next round. But I am upset at you that you didn't mention one of the greatest goalies in hockey,
How
Mr.
old are
Bernie
you going?
Perrant.
Parent. Okay.
Perrant, not parent. Perrant.
It's like Patrick Roy. Okay. So with that being said, he's hard at typing right
And-
now. We're already 1 minute over, and we got to let John go. So
Oh, you're
let's
fine. I was just seeing who they're going against next.
who they're going against.
Oh no!
Jets.
Today, 12:30.
No, if the Knights beat the Jets, who's
Oh,
like,
I think it's Colorado, and that won't be an easy.
I don't think
That
Colorado has it easy against the Kraken.
oh, we have the winners of the Kings Oilers.
We ain't getting past the Oilers. I know they're down 2-1, 2 overtime, very fluky goals.
We won't get past the Kings. The Kings give
The
us
Kings and
trouble.
Oilers, yeah. Well, so do the Oilers.
Well, yeah. I mean, but come on. You got the Oilers number 2 in the Pacific.
And if we get out of the West, ain't no way in hell we're going up against the East. We are not a physical team. The East is much more physical.
Yes.
So with that being said, final thoughts, Chief.
Toronto and Seattle for the Stanley Cup.
Go bet money, you'd be a millionaire if you make
I
that.
know that.
Exactly.
Anyway, hey folks, it's been great. Great week. Scott, thank you for coming in. And I you didn't let me do it. But Power Play Sports and Collectibles, Sam's Town, August 26th, 27th, November 4th and 5th. Come on out. This gentleman puts on a hell of a card show, and I think we're all going to be there, if I'm not mistaken.
Usually forced to be.
I think we might be. I think we might be doing a podcast.
Yes.
And
Thank you, sir.
family-wise, I'm here for you.
Thank you.
You got my number. Whatever you need, I'm here. And thank you for coming in.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. It's always good to see you. You're always out of town. Don't see you that often anymore, I swear.
I leave tomorrow morning I think I have to be out of the house at 2:30 to get to.
But don't say where you're going.
Parts unknown.
Parts
Undisclosed
unknown.
locations.
I
But
know.
everybody have a
I'll
good,
tell you
safe
later.
week. Be careful out there. If you haven't seen somebody in a while, give them a call. Say hello. Life's short.
Please and thank you.
Be courteous to one another, as Aaron would start off with, but I ain't going to finish it because he yelled at me the other day on the chat room for using his line. But thank you. Yeah, I copyright. It's in my book. I signed it for you.
Who the
Aaron, thank you for letting me sit in for you. For those out there in TV/internet/social media/podcast land, thank you for listening to Thoughts Count Anywhere. Thank you for our lovely studio here. John, behind the board there. Yep. And
We'll see y'all next week.
Absolutely. See you guys next week.